Welcome back, everyone. Well, so far we've come a long way and we know about pseudo classes, we know so many different CSS properties and their values, so many HTML tags, the attributes that will be attached to those tags. So we've come a long way and we still have a long way to go. So the best is just to keep going and finish our design. So, as you might guess, this is the time for us to work on this login that we have. So, the first thing that I want to say in this session is about text align. Well, what does text align mean? Have you ever used something like a Word document, a text document, well, where you can determine where the position of the text should be? For example, we have a p tag right here, right? Well, this p tag, there's something called text align, okay? Text align. You just mentioned that where should the text should be. This is center, okay? And because this is our p tag here, the white area, and we can set the position of the text inside it with this text align. So you can see it has so many values: right, left, start, center. These are the things that we have. So let's use this text align thing to position our login button in center. So let's get back to our codes. And if I ask a question, and think about this question. This is our HTML code, okay? There's a button, there's a div here, and we are going to use text align center to position this login button in center. Well, the question is, what should we assign this text align to? Well, the button itself or the div that's containing the button? Well, the answer is obvious. First of all, text align is meaningless for something with an inline or inline block display, because this button, look at how much space this button is occupying as long as the text inside it. So text align for the button itself is actually meaningless, right? So we actually need to assign this text align to the div that is containing this login form, right? So let's close this, and inside our codes here we have a div here. We can also give it something called btn container, okay? btn container. So we can go inside our styles attribute, and well, this btn container is something inside our form group, right? So we can come here and select our btn container, okay, and set the text align of it to center, right? Let's get back to our code, hit refresh, and why it's not working? The btn container, maybe I have a typo. Let's make sure that we do not have a typo. Copy this, paste this. So everything's just fine. So why it's not working? So whenever there's something goes wrong and you want to fix it, the best way to do that is actually using this inspect element. For example, for now I just applied the text align center and it did not work. So what to do in these circumstances? You use inspect element. So I right click on this, I hit on inspect element, I go to this div, I have given it a btn container, so but I do not see my CSS property here, right? That text align center that I applied, we do not see it in these styles, in CSS styles section, right? So the problem should be something with my selector, maybe. Okay, it's whatever the problem is in my CSS code, in my selector. So actually this btn container is inside, it's not inside form group, it's inside the login form. So that's why we have the problem. So this form group should be deleted because it's inside the login form. Now hit save, hit refresh, and this is it. It's now fixed. So now we can select the button itself. We can give it a class of btn. So give it a class, the btn class. Okay, and let's get back to our code, and we have this. We use this and select our btn. So we are going to give some CSS properties to this button in order to make it look like this. The first thing that we have to fix is our background color. Our background color is the pink that we have. So background color should be that pink we are using, whatever the code is. And the text color itself is white, so let's use white. Color is white. You can write white itself, okay, or we can use hashtag or # FFF. This FFF means absolute white. Okay, they both are correct, and you can use anyone that you like. And the third thing is that you can see all the words are in uppercase here, okay, and we have written it. It has login in. What does that mean, login in? Okay, let's write that, login in, and we will fix that icon soon. But there are two ways to write this uppercase. First of all, go ahead and convert this to uppercase. We can write login in, or we can use a command in VS Code. If we hit Ctrl-Shift-P, the list of all the possible commands will be appeared, and we can write transform. Let's just write uppercase. As you can see, when I hit on this transform to uppercase, it will transform whatever that I highlighted to uppercase. So we need to go ahead and assign a keyboard shortcut for that. For example, Ctrl-Shift-U for uppercase and Ctrl-Shift-L for lowercase. So let's search for lowercase, and this lowercase is something that I am going to assign Ctrl-Shift-L. What the hell? 3 existing commands? How 3? So let's use something else. Ctrl-Alt-L. This is there are 2. Let's hit escape, and once again Ctrl-Alt-L. So this is Ctrl-Alt-L that I'm assigning to transform to lowercase, and for transform to uppercase is something that I want to use Ctrl-Alt-U. Okay, this is it. And now from now on, whenever we hit Ctrl-Alt-L, everything will be to lowercase, and we can just simply change that. And the other way of fixing that is actually use CSS, and there's something called a text transform. For example, this selector that we have, I can use a text transform, okay, and in text transform capitalize, lowercase, and I'm going to set that to uppercase. So whatever that I write here, it will be automatically transformed to uppercase. So we can go back here, hit refresh, and see that the result is in uppercase. So we have the background, we have the text color, we have no border, okay, right? We have no border. So let's, because it has a border, as you can see. Let's zoom in to see even better. And so let's get back to our CSS code. So let's border none is the other thing that I'm going to fix. So since I am putting a space after any column, so let's do that too here. And the other thing that we are going to fix when it has no border, it should have a padding around it. So let's use a padding, and the padding should be about, for example, let's use 10 pixels, but 10 pixels from top and left, from top and bottom, but from left and right I want it to be 20 pixels. So 20 pixels, okay. And so the other thing that I'm going to fix is the border radius. As you can see, it has a border radius. So how to fix this border radius? We are going to fix that in a second. Let's hit refresh for now and let's see what is the result. I was wondering why it's taking so much time to whenever I hit refresh. I just realized the reason is I have no internet connection. So let's turn off the VPN, and as you can remember, so this is the VPN that I'm using. It was being cut. Okay, let's get back to code. So we had an import thing here. So the reason that whenever I hit refresh it takes a long time, it was because of this piece of code which needed internet, and since we did not have any internet, that's what was happening. So hit refresh, and the font family is now fixed. Okay, so let's get back to this. So this is our login in, and the other thing about BTNs, look at the cursor. The cursor will change to a pointer, and the cursor here, well, nothing changes. So there's actually a CSS command for this. Let's hit style.css, open that. This BTN, the cursor should be pointer. Cursor. The cursor is a new CSS property that we are learning, and it has so many different values. You can go ahead and check all of them, but for now we are just interested in pointer because this is what pointer looks like. When I hit refresh, and this is what pointer looks like, and we are going to add a hover effect to this as well. But for now, let's see how much the height is. The height of this element is 24 pixels. So let's go ahead and use a height of 24 pixels. But again, since I have padding attached to this, it will cause some problems. And also, yes, it will cause some problems. So we have to use the box sizing for this and set the box size into border box. That way we are saying, yes, the height is 24 pixel, including the padding should be 24 pixels. So go again, hit refresh, and this is what happens because we have given so much padding to this. And let's hit I don't agree that the height is 24 pixels on this. No, I think I'm selecting the wrong thing. The height is 46 pixels. I was wrong. For 6 pixels. Hit refresh, and this is it. This is better. And now let's fix the border radius. The border radius, we have 46 pixel height, right? So if I say border radius should be exactly 46 pixel, exactly as much as the height is. So hit refresh. This is what happens, 46 pixel, as much as the height is. And I'm going to increase the padding from right and left. Hit refresh, and I think it's a little better, but from top and bottom I want to have less padding, 5 pixels of padding. We will put the icon as well, don't worry, but for now let's give it a hover effect. What happens when user hovers it? Well, a good UI UX developer would tell us what should happen after hovering, so it will also cover the hover effects. But in what we have here, the hover effect, there is nothing for it. So let's go ahead in our codes and give it a hover effect for ourselves. It's us and us for this hover effect on this BTN. So whenever the user hovers this, The first thing that I want you to change, I'm talking to browser now, is background color to our blue. Change that to our blue. Okay, and there's another thing that I want you to know now. Now I'm talking to you, is something called transition. So you can see that when I hover it, the change will happen immediately. Okay, but there's something called transition. Okay, and we can give it a time. For example, 2 seconds. 2 seconds is a long time, but let's see for ourselves. And you can see the transition takes 2 seconds for us. But let's change it to a reasonable amount of time, and 0.4 seconds. 0.4 seconds. We can use the 0 or not. It's up to us. It's we can and we cannot. We both are correct. And hit refresh. And this is what happens when we are hovering on this thing here. So when we hover, the other thing that should be changed, the color should be changed to black, I believe. So if white is hashtag or pound sign FFF, well, the black is pound sign 000. We can use black or we can use pound sign 000. It's up to us again. Both are completely correct, and this is what happens, and this is it, the hover effect that we have. And let's use this transition for this too as well, this hover effect that we have on A. So let's go, and this forget link that we have, this forget link, let's have a transition of 0.4 second. This 0.4 second is something that so many people use, and they believe that is the good number. The best number for that is 0.4 second actually. So this is our forget link. It should have a transition of 0.4 seconds, and this is what happens. The color change would not be immediately. It takes a little time, so that's why it's a little better compared to what we had. Okay, this is it. This is what we have designed so far. So let's sum up what we learned. The first thing that you need to remember, always use inspect tool whenever you when you face a bug and you want to fix it. So where you start by inspect element. And don't forget to set shortcut for this text transform to uppercase and lowercase. Is something that you will use a lot throughout your programming journey. And these are the new CSS properties that we learned. Well, the transition, text transform, text align, cursor, they were all. For cursor, we had so many different values, but whenever for example, for something like cursor, whenever you wondered what to use, you just make a simple search. You don't need to memorize all of them, what they are. For example, you search cursor CSS, okay? And there's something in W3 Schools you open and you see, and there you can see the different types of CSS cursors. For example, let's see here. And these are all different cursor types. You just go ahead and search for what the proper cursor, so you understand the concept of cursor, that there is a CSS property called cursor, and you can change the cursor by that. But what the exact cursor that you are going to use, what the name of that is, there's something that you search. You understand the concept, you search the value. This is the way that you use CSS. And in text align, there were so many different values, but center, left, right, justify. There's also justify, text align, justify in like Word documents that you justify the text. There's also that as well. But what's the difference between left and start, right and end? You will see an example, but if you take for example, let's in Arabic language, the direction of the text is from right to left, right? And the direction from something English from left to right. Usually they had a problem with that because in English language they designed their website from left to right, and then they suddenly they went international and they wanted to make their site supporting different kind of languages, for example Spanish, Italian, Arabic. But whenever they came to Arabic, they faced a problem. And what was the problem? Well, they had used text align left in so many places. So, but when this website will be translated to Arabic, they had so many problems because Arabic, the text align should not be on left, it should be on right. So that's why this start and end came to place. In English languages, the start is actually left, but in Arabic, the start is actually right. So all they had to do is to set a direction for their document. We will see a CSS property called direction. We can set the direction of all of our document to right to left or from left to right. So all they had to do was to set a direction for CSS for Arabic languages. And when the direction changes, the meaning of start and end will be changed. So this start and end came actually to fix that problem. But for you that you are using English in your codes and things, the left and right are actually start and end. That's why it doesn't make a difference for you. So this is it in this session. Hope to see you in the next one.